The South Africa Act of 1909 only granted independence to South Africa to the extent that British Crown would continue to be a ceremonial head of state represented on the ground by a Governor-General. Consequently, certain acts of the British Parliament continued to be applicable in South Africa. Independence was therefore limited only to matters of internal affairs. In 1931, however, the British Parliament enacted the Statute of Westminster, which removed many constitutional limitations on all British dominions, reducing the role and presence of the British Crown. Following this statute, the South African Parliament passed the Status of Union Act of 1934 to the effect that no act of the British Parliament could apply to South Africa unless endorsed by the Union Parliament. The period 1909 to 1910 covers the independence period and is essentially the genesis of the constitutional development of South Africa. This period was characterized by the enactment of the South Africa Act by the British Parliament, establishing an independent Union of South Africa comprising the territories of Cape Colony, Orange Free State, Natal and Transvaal. In reality, this was South Africa's independence constitution that in 1960, following the drafting of a new constitution, South Africa's white voters voted in a constitutional referendum to abolish the Union of South Africa created by the South Africa Act of 1909. In its stead, a Republic of South Africa was established. Although premised on the South Africa Act, the 1961 Constitution severed all ties with the British Empire as the state president replaced the Crown and the Governor-General. All references to King, Queen, and Crown were replaced with State. Key features provided by the new constitution were a president, a prime minister, and an executive council, cabinet, based in Pretoria, a bicameral legislature in Cape Town and an independent judiciary sitting in Bloemfontein. The constitution maintained white dominance over political life through a discriminatory electoral structure that disenfranchised non-whites. A Bantu Authorities Act in 1951 restricted the political participation of blacks to the homelands called Bantustan. However, selective reforms in 1964 and 1968 opened some political space to Asians and coloreds by allowing limited political participation in ethnic affairs. Accordingly, a Colored Persons Representative Council was created in 1964 and a South African Indian Council established in 1968. In 1983, a series of legislative reforms resulted in the enactment of a new constitution and a reconfiguration of state institutions and power. These reforms were implemented through the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa Act of 1983. It provided for an executive authority that was shared amongst an executive president elected for a 5-year term, a cabinet appointed from the parliament and a council of ministers also chosen from parliament. It established a tricameral parliament with a House of Assembly for whites, a House of Representatives for coloreds and a House of Delegates for Indians. An 88-member electoral college system was established for electing the president consisting of 50 white electors, 25 colored and 13 Indian electors to be chosen by majority vote from their respective houses. The three-chambered parliament was based on a fundamental premise of the 1983 Constitution, the distinction between a racial community's own affairs, encompassing education, health, housing, social welfare, local government, and some aspects of agriculture, and general affairs, encompassing defense, finance, foreign policy, justice, law and order, transport,